Hey everyone, this is episode 506 of the OotiniCast. This is being recorded on the 5th of February 2025, and we'll be getting going on the official podcast here in just a minute. This is the raw version of the show that goes out with all flubs and flaws intact, and then we will clean up the audio, put it out as an actual podcast tomorrow. We'll also take the raw version of the feed, the video feed, and put it up on YouTube later tonight. And let's go ahead and let people know that we're live. We're now doing this on Blue Sky. Yep. And let me go ahead and make this a post. 6 live now. All right, posting it out. And I'll maybe go ahead and repost it on my personal one if I can get there. Let's see, there we go. I'm just doing Blue Sky today. Yeah, and so we have some stuff to talk about with that later on.
Reposted.
Awesome. And do you need more time, Kitty? You're about ready to go.
I am good to go.
All right. Then I think I'm good too. Let me have some water and I'll get her rolling. Okay. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that's been in this fight since we were 6 years old. This is episode 506, being recorded on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. I'm your host, Jill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Jill, how are you?
I'm good. And let's see. So, what you been up to? Well, since the last show, you were unavailable last show, but so it's been a few weeks. But go ahead and let us know what you've been up to.
It's been very, very. It's jam packed with all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
We got a new roof put on the house, like not just shingles, but a whole roof put on.
Oh wow!
And it was very loud. But I streamed anyway because I thought it would be funny, to have all the hammer bob
right
picked up during the stream, and it
sort of was.
It didn't disappoint. I kept saying, "Hey, so you might hear something in the background." It's
bang bang bang.
We're gonna, and then I have a skylight right here. Mm-hmm. And they had to pop the skylight off, so that was like exposed and open, and people are like looking in and stuff, and it was kind of funny. I mean, we're getting a new roof, so I expected it. I wasn't pissed off or anything like that.
Right.
It was more of like, all right, here we go. Let's have fun.
That's awesome.
It's so awesome. We got new gutters for the house. And I realized that, how there's the old adage that, when do you know you're an adult? Like what makes you an adult?
Right.
And I've come to the conclusion that, you're adult. You're an adult when you get excited about new gutters on your house.
That's right.
Because I was so happy about it. I'm like, woo!
I got to see them.
Yeah, you did.
That was fun. Yeah,
so
I got to go over and see Kitty.
That was
fun. A week ago. So, and you're kind of pegging the audio a little bit, Kitty. If you can turn down your mic just a hair, I'd appreciate it.
There we go. I can back off the mic too.
Cool.
No worries. Got that going. That's great. And I made a new character. This is 2 weeks ago. Wait, 3 weeks ago, or however long it was.
Probably before the last show, I think.
Yeah, and she's a Jedi Sentinel, and her name's is Toots McThunderbuns.
Okay.
And now she's Master Toots McThunderbuns.
All right.
And her title's Bunker Buster. So it's Master Toots McThunderbuns Bunker Buster. And every time I see it, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's great.
That's good. But yeah, she's super fun. She's almost level 80, and we're in the chapters. Yeah, it's my favorite class.
Right.
And I got the rotation down really well because I don't usually.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, is she actually a knight or is she a consular?
Oh, I'm going through the Jedi Knight story.
Knight story, okay.
Yeah. So, but I love the rotation. It's kind of long, but it's so fun. I just love it. And
which specific spec is it then? For
is it concentration?
The dot one?
It's not Watchmen. It's not the super alacrity one. It's the mixed bag one.
It has a mixed bag one. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a
I
couple
never
of dots,
remember what
really
it is.
Dot spec either. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a dot
mixed up. Yeah.
But it's really, really fun. And I make it so it's really, really mobile. I take the extra jump because that extra jump also works as an interrupt, which is great because you use your inner seed I think that's what it's called. And then it makes you really fast. And then you can just jump back on, wait for them to start casting and then boing back on, or use your,
that's cool.
What is it? I call it force skedaddle,
right. Mad dash on the other side.
And then, mad dash. And then you can jump back on and interrupt again.
Right.
Then you can use your interrupt. And then there's another ability that's basically, it's a jump effect, a jump attack. And that interrupts as well. I think that one interrupts as well.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but so it's, it's kind of fun. I'm playing through the veteran difficulty, which is, you got to have your head screwed on for the veteran modes in the chapters. It's really fun.
You got to pay attention.
You got to have your cooldowns. You got to be able to nail out some DPS when you have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fun. I just love it. Great.
That is great.
So I think this is my 85th Sentinel. Haven't broke 100 yet, but next time I'll make another Sentinel right after this one, and we'll get there. Finally got the Fleet Datacron. Woo!
All right. Woo! Nice.
So I have been to get the Fleet Datacron. I don't know how many times. Probably, I want to say maybe 5 times, maybe 6 times.
Right.
And every time I can't get up to the Dealey-hoo. I can't get up there.
Oh, okay.
And so, and other times I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to let other people go. You know what? You go ahead and do it. I'll wait. I'll wait. And then people are like, oh yeah, we got to go now. And I'm like, it's all right. I'll get it next time. Ducky from Utini Nights, Utini Rage.
He's really good about this.
Helped us get it. Yeah, he's awesome at it. He got me up there. I'm stoked. I'm like, okay, before you pull anybody up, I'm going to run over there. I'm going to get this thing. And I run over there and I can't get in the door because I don't have the crystals to get inside the door.
Right.
And I just went, yeah, all right. I wasn't mad. I actually wasn't angry. I was just like, yeah, all right, that's okay. But so he pulled someone up and they fell and died. So we had to go redo it anyway. So I got the crystal, yada, yada, yada. I got the Datacron. Great. There was one person in our group that actually didn't get it. So we're going to go get them theirs on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure. I got to talk to Ducky.
That's nice.
And I'm going to be placing some characters there so that I can pull people up and I can get people in and all that stuff. So if somebody later on down the road doesn't have it, we can be like, hey, you know what? Let's go get this thing.
Sounds
because good. You can't summons in there.
Right.
Which I was like, woo, I'm just going to get a person, get a character out there and I'll be able to summons people. It'll be great. Nah, that's not the case. So I'm going to have a couple characters that are designated Fleet Datacron getters. And I was very, very happy about it, but
nice.
Good. What else? I have been PvPing with you, my friend.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Having a lot of fun. We are level 79 on our Hybees.
Yeah, basically done. I mean, basically one more session and probably one of us will ding.
Yeah, so I'm assuming at the least, because we're playing our Lobies as well,
right.
We'll be tinging 80 this week for sure.
Yeah, you're right. If we did nothing but Hybees, it would take one session. But yeah, if we split it, if we keep splitting it like we have been, then
Might take a little longer, but
yeah,
it's kind of nice to just be able to go, you know what? I don't want to play this character. I don't want to play range. Let's go do the other one. Or, whatever. Because both of us are just, all right, whatever.
Right. And I'm doing the swipey, super attacky Marauder spec.
Yeah.
Which is actually really fun. And I'm actually, I'm a little ahead of you just because, like, we decided to start.
Because you're a monster. You're a monster leveler, Chill. That's what it is.
I've had to
Every
slow
time
down.
I look, you're like 4 levels ahead of me.
Yeah, well, I had to slow down because it started because like I had gotten ahead just to be prepared at like level 23, just so I could be on the tree, have a choice on the tree and another passive. But you decided let's just go, and you were like level 11, so you were way behind me at that point. So,
I didn't have interrupt. I didn't have any defensive cooldowns.
And
but
we still did fine.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
And
I don't ever care that you have more levels. It's
I just need to slow down so that I'm not dinging 45 like way before you are. Yeah. And then so I think he's like 31. He's in that big gap between 27 and 35, and I think he's like 31. At this point. But yeah, because of the whole like when you do the rage thing, and it gives you 30% alacrity, and it's supposed and you just start attacking like crazy. So I'm also like building all alacrity. Like I have some accuracy because it's all weapon damage. I have to have some accuracy, but I'm doing it like whatever accuracy I need, and then usually I do crit, but I'm just doing all alacrity this time, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. The damage is solid. Even without the crit, and it's fun. I'm just attacking so fast; it's hilarious.
I can't play it. It gets too confusing.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
right.
Too old.
Exactly. I think it's also especially until now. Like before I had predation. It was really rough because I would just get rooted or slowed, and I just couldn't get up onto people. Predation really helped with that, and then when I do get to not 35 because that's just an ability, but the next one above it, 39, I guess. Then there's another thing that gives me more movement speed, and that should also help for sure. And because it's funny because I'm looking at all the choices, and there's really no slows. Like I can't slow them. I have to speed myself up, basically. I mean, at least for the choices that are actually good. I think there's a couple slows, but you have to I'm not going to get rid of predation, basically.
No.
I could take a slow, but then I lose predation, which is like this huge. It's a root and slow remover when you first pop it. It also affects everyone in the group as long as they're within a certain range. It's very, very powerful, and I'm not giving it up for a slow just to sort of help me keep up with people. Especially when I know that I'll be able to move faster pretty soon, so it's all good.
Yeah, and I think later on in the build, I could be wrong, some of the abilities should slow them just automatically.
Maybe. I haven't seen it.
I might be thinking about a different one, but those ones I think are higher up.
We'll
or maybe
see.
they're an option too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But so he's just swinging his axes like crazy because I'm using the Gamorrean
I know it's
axes. It's really fun.
Did you ever see Dead Alive? The movie
no.
Dead Alive? Oh, it's this, I think it's a New Zealand movie, and it's a zombie movie, and it's got this one scene where this guy's just chopping up zombies, but it's a shot from below him, and it's his, his
I've
face
seen that shot.
and his arms, and he's all,
I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen that shot because it's kind of a famous shot. Yeah, it's
it's really funny.
What's his name from Lord of the Rings? Yeah,
it's
Jackson.
Really, good movie. Anyway, lastly, I got Twitch partner. I think everybody knows by now, but I got it.
Nice.
Super neato. And yeah, I think that's it. It's I've got a check mark now.
So you got the check mark. What other things changed? Do you know? Does it give you like a better way to contact Twitch if you have questions?
I noticed that I sprouted a bunch of hair on my chest. I don't know if that's coincidence or No, you get a couple other little. I think I get another animated emote. You get some other emotes for tears and stuff like that. But
that's slick.
Not much. But yeah,
It's still pretty
it was,
good.
Yeah, it was weird. I never thought about it. Like I was always just like, no, I don't need it. And then I looked at my progression on the Twitch page, and I'm like, whoa, I guess I qualify for it.
Qualify for that, yeah.
And I go,
nice.
I won't do it. And then the next day, I'm like, maybe I will do it. And I think I told you and Marcus and Kitty Treats, and Marcus is like, I go, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Should I do it? And he goes, do it! And I go, all right. So I just filled it out real quick and sent it in. And then I forgot about it because I thought it was going to take like a month or something. And then the next week I was going through my emails. I'm like, oh, look, a Twitch email. And I'm like, oh, cool.
That is
and
awesome.
It felt good. It felt like an accomplishment. So,
absolutely.
Very happy.
Woo woo. Congrats.
Woo. But that's it for me, Chill. I'll pass the baton on to you.
All right. Let's see. So let's see who's here today. 24 is here. Altil, Dersesh, Dorazin, Japeo's here. Mortalized Love, KSJMLD, Cogas is here. Squishy Twitchy, and Totes Bestie are all here. Hey, everyone. And let's see. So, yeah, one update. I did the Remote Trading Outpost Deco Pack. And I went through all, I talked about that on the last show, so I won't do all of it, but there was a kind of an update because there was a timer, and then I was going to try selling some of the decos. Turns out that even though there was a timer, after the timer was done, it was just bound. So I don't know why there was a timer. So I don't know why there's a timer.
That's weird.
I also like rechecked on it after 7.60, so maybe it got updated, like maybe it was meant to be bound the whole time, and then they just kind of changed it or something. That's possible. I don't know. But anyway, it seems like apparently you can't sell these decos, even after you've had the timer timeout. So whatever. But I still like the decos. It's all good. But it would have been fun to try selling some of them to see how see if any of them are valuable or whatever. But anyway, lots of PvP with you, which has been really fun.
Yeah. What level are you on?
On the lobies, like I say, I think 31.
No. What in the season?
Oh, I don't know, but because I'm doing some solo 17? PvP, I'm a little ahead of you, but not too much because we've been doing enough that we've both been getting the weeklies. So I just get a little bit more because I've been doing some solo stuff. But you only get a few points for every Warzone and Arena after the weeklies are done. I don't remember exactly where I should have checked, but I haven't checked for like a good week or something like that.
I just got the electric chicken hat.
Okay.
So whatever level that is,
okay,
that's where I'm at.
Nice. Let's see, and I've been working on getting my sort of new operations main on the Imperial side through her story, but because she's a new character, she's still very early on. She's still in Prelude to Shadow of Revan, which is very early because there's so much stuff to do after that. So I'm just kind of picking away at that, but I did a couple sessions on that since the last show. So one of the other main things besides PvP with you that I've been doing is trying to figure out what 80 PvP spec fits me the best. Not the best one in the game, not the the most useful one or the most overpowered one, just the one that I'm going to enjoy the most. And so I made like a little spreadsheet that wrote all the specs, and I kind of like made an initial, sort of guess as to which ones I liked well enough to actually try, as opposed to like the ones that I just knew were not for me. Mm-hmm. So, and then now I've sent the gear over, and I'm trying to keep the gear reasonably equal so that I'm not like liking one better just because I happen to be a lot more powerful or anything like that. So I've tried both of the Juggernaut DPS specs. Those were okay. I tried Lethality Operative, and then Sage Healing, and then Madness or Balance, because it was actually on Magneto, who is Empire side, but as a Sage Balance guy, because Magneto throwing rocks around looks a lot like him throwing chunks of metal around. So, and I actually it turns out I kind of like them in that order. Like the Jug DPS specs were fine. I like the Lethality Operative a little bit better. I actually enjoyed the Sage Healing more than I thought I would. Like it was very stressful. I felt a lot of stress on me because as the healer, like things are, what you do is very important, especially like in arenas. And also, and Madness I like just as well as Sage Healing, I would say. But it felt a little different because it wasn't as stressful. But yeah, so that was really interesting. I tried both of those last two with the TK Blitz and then the tactical that gives it healing, which is this choice on the tree. I think it's at 68. And you have to give up, if as a sage or sorcerer, you have to give up phase walk to do this. So you're giving up a fairly important, GTFO button to do this, and you're also giving up your tactical. So the question is like, is it worth it to do that? With the sage healing, it actually gives me a little bit of damage where like normally, if you're doing damage, you're kind of like wasting globals basically. But with the TK Blitz healing, do you know how that works? Or should I describe how that works?
Yeah, describe it.
Okay, so TK Blitz is sort of I don't remember what it's called on the other side off the top of my head, but obviously it's a mirror ability. So what you do is you get, there's three charges that you get, and so you can use them up. There's no cooldown on using the charges, but there's a charge up time of 10 seconds minus alacrity. Tends to be around the 9-second level, something like that. And so about every 9 seconds you can get a new charge. So you have 3 charges if you have all of them, and then you can use them all in a row. And if you have the tactical as well, that means you're doing damage, and then the damage thing will bounce to a friendly target within 20 meters and heal them. And the damage is kind of so-so, but the heal is actually stronger, and that's regardless of whether you're doing it as a Sage healer or as a Madness DPS person, as it turns out. So I'm, at least in the case of the Madness spec, I'm definitely giving up some damage because TK Blitz doesn't do as much damage as most of the other abilities I could use in that window. Plus, I'm giving up the tactical, which actually is a fairly important damage thing, because basically it forces ticks of your dot when you're doing your channel, basically your lightning channel or your TK throw channel. But TK Blitz, it's a smart heal. It goes to whoever's like the lowest in that 20 meter range, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
And also as you use these stacks, every time you use it, it does 30% more damage and 30% more healing, and it stacks up to 3 times. If you have 3 stacks and then you use it again, you get that full value of the 3 stacks, but then it resets to 0. So you don't get to stay at 3 stacks, unfortunately. And then there's one other wrinkle, is that your force speed will instantly give you 2 stacks. So what you can do is if let's say you have 3 stacks to start with, you can go bomb, 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 get 1, 2, 3, have that third stack, use force speed, and then you can immediately use another stack with the full charges. And then you'd have 1 stack left over, but you don't really want to use that because it's dropped back down to 0 and you don't have any more stacks at that point. So you kind of got to just use 4 really, even though technically you could use 5. And, like the damage is kind of okay. I'm like testing it on like the Warzone dummy on the ship and stuff like that. And, like the damage is like so-so, it's decent, but it's not very strong, and it's certainly not stronger than like using your normal abilities would be. But then you're getting this heal on top of it if you use the tactical. I can't imagine not using the tactical because like the damage is so kind of that, another nice thing about the tactical is that not only is it giving it a heal, but also as you gain these stacks, so you're actually doing more damage and more healing, it's also making it cheaper, so it's not draining your force as much.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's actually not too bad on the force usage, which is good. But the thing is, like that 3rd and 4th heal, especially if it crits, it can crit for like the last one I've had crits for like over 80,000, and even if it doesn't crit, it's sometimes like 50,000. So if you do the boom, 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 even if if none of them crit, you're going to get about 120k worth of healing. And if you get some crits especially on the 3rd and 4th, the biggest ones, you can easily get like 210,000 healing. And this is in 4 globals. That's a lot of healing. Yeah.
That's a lot of healing.
It's a lot of healing. So it's been sort of interesting. There's a couple of other wrinkles. First of all, if they're using a defensive ability that completely blocks damage, it won't bounce. You won't get the heal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and because it's a smart heal, you might want it to heal you, but it might not heal you if there's a buddy nearby who's even lower than you are. So it's
by 1 point or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't know if it bases that on percentage or actual, amount of health left. One of those two, but I have no idea which. I don't have an easy way to test that. But it makes it very interesting because like all of a sudden I have, as a healer, I can do a little bit of extra damage without feeling like I'm completely ignoring my healing duties. It also means like if it's one of those situations where I really need to be doing damage, like to get someone down, to help get someone down, I actually have something that will work pretty well. And then with the madness spec, I'm definitely doing a bit less damage, but the healing is like pretty good, and you already get a fair bit of self-healing on the as a madness sork, because there's a bunch of abilities that do it, and you get some small but steady off of your dots. So you're getting a fair bit of self-healing anyway, but all of a sudden you can get these like 20, 30, even 60, 70k heals that sometimes bounce to someone else who's very low and really needs the healing, which is pretty cool. So it made it very interesting. And I don't personally feel I miss the phase walk. I don't think I use it very well. I don't really enjoy it as a mechanic. For one thing, it gets you out of trouble, but then like as a healer, you can then heal yourself up and get back into the combat fairly quickly. As a madness sork, you don't have a lot of ways to heal yourself up until you get out of combat, and that's going to take a while because you've got dots ticking, and the game does not like to let you get out of combat very easily. I really hate that, especially with like the stealthing classes. Like I really wish you could get out of combat more regularly when you use your vanish, because it really sucks when you vanish and you actually escape and then you go around the corner and then you have to wait 15 seconds before the game decides you're actually out of combat. It really hurts, especially in specs that don't have self-heals at all.
Well, sometimes you can put it next to a heal pot.
Yeah.
If you can.
Right. That's right.
But otherwise, you're like, ugh.
That reminds me of something. I'll tell you in a sec.
Out.
Yeah. So, so I'm actually enjoying the TK Blitz a lot more, actually, and I think so far it's tied for those as far as the specs I've enjoyed the most. So, if I had to stop now and choose one of them, I would choose one of those two after doing probably some more testing and stuff. But there's a lot of other specs that I still want to try because there's a lot of specs I like in the game. So we're not done yet. I'm going to be trying Juggernaut Tank. With Skank Tank gear. That is going to be next. And after that, I still have several more beyond that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. TK Blitz, surprisingly interesting. I don't, like if you need to min-max your damage, like if you're in operations, as a madness sork, you wouldn't be able to get away with it. I don't think, because, regardless of the phase walk, loss, the fact is you're going to be doing less damage. So unless your party for some reason wants you to have an off heal sort of possibility going on, that's just not going to happen. They're going to want you to go all out on damage, especially in the higher versions of operations. But in PvP, you can kind of try these sort of like mixed sort of spec things, and I'm really enjoying it. And actually, it's a kind of a fun mechanic too, I find anyway, and also gives me another way to use my force speed, which is already a pretty cool ability for that spec. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun. I probably do a few hundred. I don't do tons of damage as a healer with it, but I end up doing a few 100,000. The healing seems to be about the same. As a madness sork, my damage is definitely less, I think, than it would have been. It's a little hard to tell, but I'm also I'm typically, instead of doing like the 1.5 million of self heals that I'm typically doing somewhere between 2.5 and even 3 in a war zone of actual heals. So a lot of that is, helping out other teammates or just giving myself more heals. And it's pretty slick. Like I've seen, it was fun to like zap people from a distance when they're going after like the Huttball carrier, and then I see the heel go to the Huttball carrier, and like chunk chunk chunk. It's really fun. Oh, and Vanden, it's funny in Vanden, they have those heels way out on the ends of those ramps, or not ramps, but yeah, those walkways. I got knocked off on the end of those, and then it turns out that there's this cylindrical thing down there, and I landed on it and didn't die.
What?
Yeah. So there's this like safe space down there where you won't die from the fall, but you should have, and there's nowhere to go, so you have to jump off and just die anyway. But it was funny just kind of being there and looking around. It's like, okay.
Would you be able to, you think, intercede or something? Like, or force leap
if I was on the right... Yeah, if I was on the right spec, I could probably get back. I don't know. Wow. It's pretty far.
That would be hilarious.
It would be easier. Yeah, it would be easier if I was on like a Juggernaut and I could actually intercede. Because I think an enemy just wouldn't be close enough. They'd back off from the edge, and either you'd be line of sighted, or just they would get out of range.
Well, you never know. Someone might want to peek over and look at their handiwork, and then you're like, boing, back.
I'm back. But yeah, this was on. It was one of the last two specs. It was either a Sage, a healer, or the madness damage. So I didn't have a way to get back, unfortunately, and no phase walk. I guess if I had phase walk, that would have been another way to get out of there. Anyway, all right. So let's see. Let's get to the tip of the week. I can never remember the exact name of these guys. Those Trick and Treat.
Here, wait, one sec, chill. Mm-hmm. We should try that and see if we could do that. So you're getting chased by somebody. Drop your phase walk. They push you off.
Right.
I wonder if you could phase walk back onto whatever it is.
You should be able to, as long as you're within 60 meters. It's a pretty long range. If I placed it,
that's a cool idea.
Like if I placed it too far away, it just deactivates. You can't do it. It was pretty
That'd be fun to try.
Yeah, hide and seek. There we go. Hide and seek. I never remember those names of those guys, even though that seems like it should be memorable. Anyway, if you don't have the right item, then what you can do is you can take any operation points or flashpoint points, and you could just buy a cheap item and build it up.
Yeah,
and delete it that way. It's just a relatively quick way to do it, especially if you've been playing a lot and you're just not getting that kind of gear from what you're normally doing. Then that's a way to kind of force the issue and sort of get the right one.
Yes.
I did the blue one, the 340 blue, and then I got the 340 purple just a couple days ago. The 340 purple was surprisingly useless.
Yep, it is.
It gives enhancements, but the stats are no better than the blue ones. In fact, the blue adds up to more points total. Like if you just add up the points, blue actually has more for some reason. You do have less endurance on the purple, so maybe you'll like the balance a little bit better. But we'll stick with the blue probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see like if that sticks around. Like they don't do augments, so when they upgrade the augments, there's not like an augment version of them, but but every once in a while they update, and they haven't updated the it's been 340 for quite a while now, and I keep freaking, it's like, when are they going to do it? They're going to update it again. I just know it. But so far they haven't. Like, I was kind of expecting it almost like the last time. Sorry, go ahead. And they haven't.
Oh no. Another thing to do is with the hide and seek, make sure that you keep an item that's 340 in your legacy bank, and as soon as they update it, just do exactly what Chill said to do. Upgrade that thing up to whatever it's going to be. Go to those guys, do the new mission, and bing bang boom, you're there.
Yeah. Yep. And so it's been really fun. Oh, and one other thing that I didn't mention is that because I'm trying all these specs, I've mostly been just taking the gear and just shoving it from character to character, and I'll have to do the like the tanking gears. If I do any tanking specs with tanking gear, I'll have to, come up with a whole different set. But for the most part, I'm just taking the gear and just mostly shoving it to the other people. And I have a lot of implants already, so that hasn't been an issue.
Yeah.
So I've been able to change from one spec to another relatively quickly without too much fuss. But I went ahead and I did the hide and seek thing, and that helps. And I've also got those augmented, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And I also have extra enhancements, so I can change out, whether I need a little more crit or need a little more accuracy or whatever. I have some of those.
Oh, interesting.
Ready
That's
to
a good
go,
idea.
so I can just pull them in because they stay bound to legacy once they're in something. So you can, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be that one character that has actually done the mission. And finally, I also went to the Gree area on Ilum and bought the legacy offhands, so I can also swap those over, because you can find legacy main hands relatively quickly, but legacy offhands are pretty rare in the game, and the Gree are still one of the best / only ways to do it. Fortunately, I did, although I haven't done a lot of Gree event stuff, I did have enough of them to buy, like, a shield, and a tech shield, and a force shield, and a knife, and a couple of I think I have 5 of them, and it's basically going to take care of me. I'll be fine.
I have the same thing. Sometimes the game does drop moddable offhands. Usually at least one when I'm leveling. I'll get one offhand per character I'm leveling. So, but that's a good idea.
I'll buy the level 10 one on the fleet every time, but those are bound. They're not bound to legacy. The Gree ones are bound to legacy, which means I'm using it on my lethality operative, but then later on when I do marksmanship sniper, I can use the same one. So, and I am going to do a couple of the sniper ones for sure as well. Nice. All right. So anyway, that's the tip of the week. And so if you have a tip of the week, send your tip to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon M83R droid and M2B9 droid code, plus a 450cc code, all courtesy of Broadsword. And let's see, that'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And we've because we've gotten away from Twitter/X, we were, the plan was to put the poll up on Mastodon, but also on Blue Sky. And Blue Sky is where we had more engagement before this. Unfortunately, the poll thing just was completely bugging out, and I couldn't do the Blue Sky one. So I did the Mastodon one, and I put some notifications on Blue Sky that, it was up, but we unfortunately did not get a lot of response. I will keep looking for, I looked for more poll making, items that none of them seemed to work. So what I might do next time, because the engagement is higher on Blue Sky, is just do not a real poll, but just say, hey, poll, just reply with 1, 2, 3, or 4, and see if we get some response that way. So the question we're asking, though, is what are you looking forward to hearing about in the next dev stream? And so we had next Galactic Season, character customization updates, date night, or other upcoming content, or die changes. And for me, it was kind of a close one. The ones who did respond, there was just a few. Like I said, we have some engagement issues with Mastodon, but character customization updates did win, and that's the one I did eventually vote for. Although die changes is interesting to me as well. Oh, Kitty needs a sec.
Cat toys are going off.
Oh. So how about you, Kitty? What are you looking forward to with the next dev stream?
I was also a little. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, all we've been told is that it can be as early as February, which means, it could be February, it could be March, it could even be pushed later. Who knows?
Yeah.
All the way to the heat death of the universe. But presumably, like a betting person based on what they've said before versus what has actually happened would guess, maybe late February, or maybe it gets pushed to early March. It'd be surprising if they got pushed much past, say, halfway through March. To me, anyway.
I was the same as you. I was caught between 2 different things. One was die changes. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see what happens with dies.
Yeah.
And where they're going to go with it. Is it going to continue to be something that isn't reusable? Is it going to be stackable? There's just so many different things that I would like to see happen, or, we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm excited Like, are we going to be able to customize our, our dyes, which would be really cool. Like pick your main and secondary and
do it
be able
separately.
to swap them.
Yeah.
Or maybe add a third dye. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, there are definitely like lots of armor pieces that have like primary areas, secondary areas, and then sort of this tertiary area that just doesn't get dyed either way, no matter what dye you put in it. Especially like a lot of sort of leather bits or certain metal bits tend to be like that. Or sometimes neutrally colored bits will sort of stay that neutral color, gray or the black or whatever.
Yeah, so, that Andor armor set is like that. It dyes horribly. So it'd be cool to have be able to put them into different parts if we could, wall of crazy. But it was between that and I'm actually, I don't know. I kind of was interested about the galactic seasons. Like what's going to happen next galactic season? Are we going to get another companion? Are we going to get a stronghold? Are they going to be adding something completely different, new? I don't know. But I like the galactic seasons. I get sad every time I finish one. I'm like, oh. But that's what's great about PvPing with you is it's like, all right, now we got PvP. So, But yeah, so I'd say galactic seasons and dye changes.
Okay.
Would be mine.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what further character customization updates. For me, that's the one I voted for, although dye changes I was tempted by as well. I'm looking forward to the next galactic season, but, we're still in this one, and I'm kind of, I'll be happy to hear about it, but it's not what I'm most looking forward to. It'll also be interesting to see if there's about date nights and seeing what they're able to do with that. We know that because they're doing date nights as fully voiced and there's still the actors strike, that's still a tricky thing for them. So there's not really a lot of, date night possibilities for non-voiced characters. Kim Vol is one of the only ones that speaks alienese, but
which everybody wants.
It is technically
don't
possible,
you? I want it. I want to see it. What does Kim Vol do on a date?
We don't know.
Go to like a Jedi smorgasbord.
We
or
had
something?
sort of like just had the basic start of the romance arc with him, and that's it. So, yeah. So, Totes Bestie did say you can get offhands from the 306 vendor, which can be modded and are also legacy bound. So that's another way to do it. So if you don't have the Gree event points to do that, then you can do that. Yeah, it'll take tech points.
I think it's like 2,000 or something like that. It's a lot. It's really expensive.
Well, I thought it was less than that, but you might. You're going to have to want to, sometimes it'll give you ones that is modded and sometimes not. So you may end up having to buy a few before you get the one that you want that's also modifiable. Because I know that they do non-modded offhands as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Interesting. They do that for just about all the 306 level pieces. So.
Yeah, like I said, I seem to get really, really lucky. I'll always get an offhand. I'm swimming in them.
Nice.
I wish I could give them to you, Chill.
Yeah, well, that's not how it works, but that's okay. All right. So we look forward to the dev stream. In fact, I think if this might be another indication that it's coming soon. We don't know when it's coming, but the news was very quiet for the last 2 weeks. So I'm guessing that they're just very busy working on this sort of next stuff. And at some point they'll have enough, pushed far enough along that they then will be able to do their dev stream, which is so I guess this could be taken as a good sign, but it doesn't mean there's not a lot of news to talk about today. We do have the February events up, and the first one just started today, technically yesterday, the All Worlds Ultimate Swoop Rally. So the Swoop Rally is up. That's on Dantooine, Tatooine, Onderon, and you can go race around on the little speeders and get a bunch of there's a bunch of speeders, but also armor and pets and decos and all that good stuff too. And the other one that's going to be later this month is the Rakghoul Resurgence, this time on Alderaan. So the Alderaan Rakghoul Resurgence will be on February 18th through the 24th, so a couple weeks away. And that one is always fun, and we tend to do that with the Ootini group, and we'll go do the boss and stuff like that. And it's always fun to mess around with the rat ghouls and stuff like that. Or if you just happen to be going through, sometimes they'll attack you and whatever. All right.
And you get your Loken.
Yeah, and that's right. It's a good time to get Dr. Loken.
Get your Loken.
Get your Loken back, or get him at all. You can, because everyone can get him. It's just takes a little bit more. If you weren't an agent.
Yeah, one of the best companions of all.
He is pretty awesome. Yeah, and it's fun actually having him out and about and turning into Rakula as you attack. It's so cool. All right. And let's see. There was a maintenance update on January 30th. So this was like last Thursday. Is that right? I want to say. Yes, the Thursday, the 30th. There was a purchase flow maintenance update, and apparently it was sort of a big deal because it took down like everything, the whole game for like 4 hours roughly. And it was not like, usually when they do this sort of maintenance back end, they kind of try to do it early in the day. But this time they had to start it at like, I think it was 9 a.m. And so it was going pretty much until like, early to mid-afternoon, depending on where you were in the United States anyway. And they only tend to do that if it's, if they have to pull in a bunch of people from a bunch of places to figure out, how to take care of it. It says these purchase flow changes are a requirement from EU compliance for 3D Secure that need to be completed before the end of January. So they were in a corner. Like they were clearly being pushed to get this done and done now. So improvements to the checkout flow on SWTOR.com will take players to a new checkout page. It will look like an EA page with updated text. We have improved the logic around Steam purchases to reduce friction and resolve issues players were experiencing. Updated exchange rates from the US dollar to local currency will be implemented. Some regions will see a decrease in pricing for cartel coins, subscription time, and bundles, where others may see an increase. And but it will not impact the items in the cartel market because it impacts how many coins you get, but not how many you're spending on the cartel market. And yeah, the following payments will be unavailable, and then they, blah, 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 blah. Only new purchases will be impacted. Existing recurring payments will remain as is, and they'll communicate when the above methods will be available again, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so yeah, so it did take around 4 hours. I think maybe a little bit over, but not by much. And yeah, it was interesting that they had to do it, in such a way that they had to do it like during the workday, where maintenance is usually kind of done sort of like in the wee hours. Let's see. So there's some 7.16 known issues that Jackie put out. Some interactable items no longer display a blue glow, indicating they can be clicked on, such as lore objects, mission items placed in the world, elevator buttons on the fleet. And I've noticed that a fair bit. Like a lot of my mission items I'm expecting to click on, yet they're not blue. However, you can still click on them. They're just not glowing blue. So not too bad. I mean, not too bad if you know what you're looking for. Like if you've done the mission before. For the stuff I've done before, it's really not a big deal at all because I just kind of go there and I click on it and it's like not a big deal.
Yeah, and if you hover your mouse thing over it, it'll say it's clickable.
It'll do that too. It'll do the little tag, yeah. The little tagger that says what you're hovering over. Icon, thank you. And there will what else I was going to say about that? I'm not sure what else I was going to say about that. But anyway, it is happening. Yeah, it's usually, and like I say, the other thing is like, you can also use your mini map. There's the area map where you can toggle it to a mini map, and you can zoom in pretty closely on the mini map, so you can get pretty close to the thing you need to click on. Mm-hmm. That can help you find things if it's for a mission that you haven't done before and you actually don't know what you need to actually click on. All right. Sometimes companions are not consistently resummoned from once a player returns from a polymorph state, like if you're a mouse droid for a while or whatever. Let's see. I'm not too worried about it. There's just little bugs that they're talking about. Yeah. sometimes the fish is not, in Hoth ice fishing, the fish is not successfully delivered to the player, even if they loot another item simultaneously, that sort of thing. So there's lots of little bugs to be working for. Let's see, was there anything else that's really important here? The Steam pricing issues were resolved. There's a new issues list to share related to the purchase flow changes that were rolled out. So players who are redeeming subtime codes are sometimes not being granted access to the Onslaught and Legacy of the Sith content, so they need to do that. Some players are seeing an error code when selecting a subscription on the website. And so players who have an... Let's see, some player... There's a couple of fixed ones. They actually crossed them out and wrote fixed after it, which is kind of cool. Players who have an active subscription time may see 0 game time on the website. If you're currently experiencing this, please reach out to support@SWTOR.com and be sure to include your account name. So there are some... It sounds like, they did... Apparently it had to be done in January, and they did it on January 30th. So clearly they were being, they were having to hustle this out.
Yeah.
It's not too surprising that some issues are happening around it. Let's see. And then Jesse Reed regarding subscription errors following this maintenance. If you receive a 409 conflict error when you're trying to purchase something, then contact SWTOR support, and there should be a link on the error page. It happens because your underlying EA account is in a bad state, and so customer support should be able to help you get that fixed, which is interesting. And you can only cancel a recurring subscription. If you have an active sub because you have time left from a previous purchase, then that would be sort of a different thing, but it might show weird at this point. They're still working on getting that to show correctly. So yeah, some interesting things because of that back-end stuff, but sounds like things are kind of working themselves out. Anything else, Kitty?
Yeah, I'm going to start running story mode operations with my community on my streams.
Nice.
And we're running one, I think it's God, why I can't think about it right now. Eternity Vault.
Okay.
This Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be on the pub side, SWTOR server. If you want to come, come check out my stream. If there's room, we'd love to have you. And
sounds fun.
I was going to see if you wanted to join us, Chill.
Yeah, I would gladly. Yeah, I'll have to.
Okay.
Let me make sure I add it to my calendar because it's a little earlier than I'm usually getting on, so I want to make sure I'm ready for it. And,
that'd be fun.
Are you going to be doing 8-man or 16-man if it's 8?
If
there's a lot of people.
We're going to do 8. Yeah.
Only 8. Okay, great.
Because
I can swap my gear over and or actually if you need a tank, I can do that too.
I think we might need a tank because I was going to tank, and that's not good. No one needs that.
All right. Well, just let me. I'll try to get on, and if I need to swap gear or whatever, I can.
Yeah, I want to start doing story mode operations with my community, so we can. I know there's a lot of people that haven't seen that content, and
right. And although it's not,
I love running operations. I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, and although they always try to make it so it's like an interesting story. They try not to make it a central story. Like they try to make it so you can always do the single player content for the sort of like the main storyline. So stuff involving the Emperor and stuff like that. That's all single player. But there always is story related to each operation, and so it can be a lot of fun to see that for sure. All right. Anything else then? And
no, I think
this Saturday.
That's this Saturday.
3 days from now or whatever. Okay.
Whatever.
Great. Just checking to make sure it wasn't a week from Saturday. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild in the Republic side of the SWTOR server or in our
Utini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel, then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at utinicast@blue.bsky.social, or Mastodon at OotiniCast@mastodon.world. I think what I'm going to do is just say Blue Sky and Mastodon, because basically if you search OotiniCast, you're going to find us there.
Yeah.
You can find, it's not a common enough name that it's going to get mixed up with, other ones.
No.
You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, streaming at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thanks for being here, chat.
And we'll see you next show.
Toodles, everybody. Let me boogie over to Twitch and see.
Okay, and let me get
who's
to
on.
Get to where I can do some rating here. I can do that from the creator dashboard, stream manager. Okay, raid channel.
Magic and Comic.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do Magic and Comic for sure then. They're awesome. All right, so we're starting the raid. So thanks everyone for coming. And
hi, everybody.
Yeah, so have a good one. We are going to be still putting up the poll one way or the other on Blue Sky and Mastodon. I might, like I say, we'll figure out exactly how to do it, but we're going to stick with that. And let's go say hi to them.
Bye-bye.
All right, stopping the stream, stopping the recording.